On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that that was the right breaker?
I'm a 8 or 9.
Oh, okay.
So a few weeks ago, we left you guys with us ripping out our tile floors. Now that we don't have to worry about the flooring, we're gonna paint our walls, ceiling, and trim. So one of the first things is obviously picking a paint color. That can be completely nerve-wracking, especially if you're going with a white. Y'all, if you're just looking at bare white paints, there's like 48 of them. So picking one of those, like I said, it's nerve-wracking. Once you get the paint color picked, then you gotta pick a sheen, and there's like 6 or 8 different ones of those. I know for us, well, for me, Jeremy wanted me to pick one sheen for everything.
Doesn't that make sense? Hold on, think about that. It's very simple. You just use the exact same paint for everything. And when you go to the store, you buy one paint, that's it.
No, that's not how it works. For whatever reason, ceilings are always painted flat. I don't understand it. You can't clean it. But yeah, they're always flat. So I typically go with like a Valspar ceiling paint in ultra white. So far it's worked out really well. And then for all of our trim work and cabinets, I do a trim and cabinet enamel by Behr in ultra white. And then our walls, I'm doing Valspar ultra white in satin. So a lot of white going on. Hang with me. You might be going like, why so much white, Jess? Just, you wait. If you're indecisive between a couple of colors, just spend the $3 or $4 and buy the paint samples. They make some things that can stick on your wall that you can paint and then put them on your wall to see what the color looks like. Move those around during different times of the day so you can see kind of what it looks like at different, with the different lights coming in. Moving on to brand/quality. I have used the cheap stuff from Walmart, the Color Place, and then I've used the higher end of the Valspar paints. And it is my experience, the cheaper does the trick. So if your budget only allows for the cheaper paints, don't let that stop you. I actually painted our entire last house with the cheaper paints because that's what our budget allowed for. The more expensive paints are probably a better quality. But like I said, the cheaper stuff, it does the trick. So don't let it stop you. And then prime versus no prime. I don't prime, but I suggest if you are going from a dark to a lighter color, it would probably benefit you to prime. I still don't, but that just means you're gonna have to do more coats. And then if you're going from a light to a darker one, especially if your paint has a built-in primer, Just preference, I think.
Okay, so next up is things you're going to need. And we're going to start off with tape. Because Jessica loves to tape.
I don't actually love to tape. Here's the thing. If you have a good cut-in brush like this, I don't feel like you need to tape. I guess if you're a beginner, maybe tape. But like I said, if you've got a good cut-in brush, throw the tape in the trash.
So another thing you're going to need is some kind of a good ladder. We have a Gorilla ladder. We got it at like Home Depot. It's around 50 bucks. It's got like a flip out tray on it. It's really handy to just put stuff on, especially for painting, stuff like that. And honestly, we end up using it for everything.
Everything. And then when it comes to rollers and paintbrushes, it's kind of like the paint. I've used the lower end to the higher end, and I honestly, I don't know. I didn't really see much of a difference. So kind of think that's a preference thing. The only thing I highly recommend is this little cut-in brush.
Okay, so another thing you want to think about is when it comes to your crown molding, your trim, things like that, whether it's from nail holes, but also the joints, like in our house is a little older, the joints have started to separate. So before we paint that, repaint it, we're going to go over it and we're going to clean those joints up. We're going to use, we've got two different options here that we can use. DAP makes one, and then also Minwax makes one as well. Both of these we have had good luck with. They both start off one color and then they change colors when they're ready to be sanded. Then just take some sandpaper, sand it down by hand, smooth it out, and you're ready to paint.
All right, so as you guys can tell, painting ceilings, it's not glamorous. But one thing to keep in mind, when you put the first coat on, it's gonna look like crap. You're gonna freak out. You're gonna be like, what the heck was I thinking? Oh my gosh. But don't worry, let it dry, and then maybe go back with the second coat. I like to do when I go through a room and I like totally refresh it, meaning painting the ceiling, is I like to change the vents. Over time they get really nasty. Depending on the age of your home, you could probably just clean them, but ours, being as it's, you know, turning 21 this year, it was time for them to be changed.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that that was the right breaker?
I'm a 8 or 9.
Oh, okay.
So our old lights were like the big bulbs that used to screw up in there.
Like a can light.
Yeah, but like old school.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've switched them out to these LEDs.
Yeah, and they've just got like a little pigtail, and you screw this into the socket that's up in there, and then you'll connect this up here. And once you connect that up, this will just shove up into the can of light.
It's brighter and it gives like a really good clean finish.
It better be brighter. So you just screw that in the light socket. And you make sure you put the black wire to the black wire. Clip them together. Shove the wires up in there.
All right, thanks for tuning in this week. Be sure and like and subscribe. Hey, leave us a comment. We'd love to chat with you guys. If you are wanting to catch up on some of our videos, you can check them out here. And then other than that, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys later, Andy, especially for painting, things like that.
I'm sorry. I accidentally looked at you through the camera and you looked so cute. I'm sorry. You were doing so good. All right, thanks for tuning in this week. Be sure and cut and hey, no.